Get ready, Commanders fans, because today things are heating up. Can you imagine seeing one of the most dangerous receivers in the league landing in Washington next year? Yes, you heard that right. There are some serious rumors about a move that could shake up the entire NFL. And trust me, this could change everything. If you think you've seen it all, you're way off. Stick around until the end, because you won't want to miss a single detail. That's not all. A potential deal is in the works. Commanders might be planning to bring in a key reinforcement from the Buffalo squad to boost the defense. Imagine having an elite cornerback patrolling our secondary. But watch out, because nothing is set in stone yet, and the clock is ticking. If you're a true fan, this is the kind of move that could take our team to the next level. Hit that like button, and don't miss what's coming next, because things are getting better by the second. And speaking of high stakes, what's the game plan for this Sunday? Many believe the Commanders are playing with fire. The decisions being made for the game against the Buccaneers could be the Achilles heel we all fear. One mistake, one bad decision, and everything could come crashing down. Will they get it right this time? Stay tuned and drop a comment below on how you think this game will end. Remember, hail to the Redskin. Hey Commanders fans, what's up? Today, I've got a bombshell that's going to get everyone talking. So what would you do if next year Davante Adams, one of the top receivers in the NFL, suited up in red and gold for Washington? Yeah, you heard that right. We're talking about a living legend who could be the missing piece for us. Now, is it really possible that the Commanders could chase this elite veteran in 2024? I'll say this, yeah, it could be. The big question is, do we really need him? Let's think about this for a second. We've made moves in the receiver corps. Jahan Dotson is gone, we've got McLaurin leading the group, and while Dyami Brown looks like he might finally break out, is that enough? What I'm wondering here is, how desperate are we to add a veteran star? Sure, Adams is still a beast on the field, but he's 32. Are we willing to sacrifice future draft picks for someone who, honestly, might only have a couple of elite years left? I don't think so. What do you guys think? Now, on to the juicy stuff. Mina Keems from ESPN thinks that if the Commanders win enough games mid-season, PETERS might make an aggressive move. And I ask you, should we really risk our future for a player who's on the brink of retirement? Sure, Adams could be what we need to aim for the playoffs, but he could also be a burden. He doesn't perform as expected. I'll say this, I don't think it's a move PETERS would want to make in his first year. And it makes sense. This team is still in the building phase, and giving up draft rounds for a receiver who's past his prime sounds more like a desperate move than a strategic one. Look, there's no doubt Adams still has magic. But if I were PETERS, I wouldn't go crazy over a player who, while great, is nearing the end of his career. Do we want Adams? Sure. Do we need him urgently? I'd say not so much. We need to think long-term. Washington isn't a clear Super Bowl contender yet, and losing valuable assets for someone who might give us only 1 or 2 more years of high performance isn't the right move at this moment. Let's get straight to it, because this news can't wait. The Washington Commanders are looking to make a move that, if you ask me, could completely change the direction of the team. We're talking about a potential trade with the Buffalo Bills to bring in young cornerback Elum. Now, some of you might be thinking, is this really what we need? I'll tell you this. When you're in a situation of mediocrity like ours, any change counts. We've struggled with a defense that hasn't been able to keep up. And while we've made some adjustments with young talent, is it enough? That's what we're about to find out. Elum, a former first-round pick, hasn't lived up to expectations in Buffalo. Let's not sugarcoat it. He's had some good moments, but he's also made serious coverage mistakes. So why bring him here? I think with the number of problems we have in the secondary, any reinforcement is a reasonable bet. It would only cost us a 6th-round pick. And honestly, that's like finding money on the ground. Low risk, high potential. Now I ask you, do you think Elum is what we need to fix the defense? Because I assure you, a fresh opportunity could be just what this player needs to shine. The Commanders can't afford more defensive mistakes. If we stick with what we have now, injuries, poor performances, and lack of depth could cost us dearly. Elum isn't perfect, but he could give us what we need in the future. Youth, developing talent, and a stronger defense. Do we want to keep betting on the same names that haven't worked out? Or do we take a risk on someone with potential who hasn't had the chance to prove himself? I think it's a smart move. Sure, it could go wrong, like anything in the NFL, but I'd rather take that risk than sit idly by while other teams bolster their rosters. Plus, Elum has 2 more years on his contract with an option for a third. That gives us flexibility, and if it doesn't work out, we cut him and move on. But if it does work out, we might have found a diamond in the rough. And that, my friends, is what winning teams do. They go big. All right, Commanders fans, let's dive straight into it, because there's something we can't ignore. We're talking about the game plan for Sunday against the Buccaneers, and I'll be straight with you. It could go very wrong. What is Dan Quinn thinking? Honestly, rotating players on the offensive line, especially at left tackle. I think this is one of those decisions that could blow up in the team's face. And I don't want to sound alarmist. History isn't on their side. Look, we've got Brandon Coleman, our rookie, who looked like he was set to be the starter until a shoulder injury knocked him out of preseason. And now, after just 2 full days of practice, Quinn says he's going to rotate him with Cornelius Lucas at that crucial left tackle spot. That's where I'm asking, is this really the best they can do? Because I'll tell you this, rotating offensive linemen has never been a good strategy. Now let me ask you all, who in their right mind wants to see their offensive line, the one that protects the quarterback, be a testing ground in a real game? Not me. Not me. The offensive line needs to be solid, with constant communication and, above all, chemistry among the players. Swapping out guys at such a critical position as protecting Jaden Daniels' blind side could lead to costly mistakes. And we're not talking about just any mistakes. We're talking about leaving your quarterback exposed to blitzes and hits from a defense like the Buccaneers, which, by the way, is one of the most exotic and aggressive in the league. Does Quinn trust this strategy? Of course he does. He said it himself. No excuses. They have to be ready. And look, I respect that he's not looking for excuses, but that doesn't change the fact that this plan is a monumental risk. There's a difference between trusting your team and putting them in a situation where, honestly, anything can happen. The rookie might be ready to give it his all, but is that enough? I don't think so. The fact that they've only practiced together for a few days doesn't give me any confidence that this will work out. We're going up against one of the toughest pass rushes in the NFL, and here we are rotating tackles like it's just another practice. Plus, we know the offensive line has had issues in the preseason. We haven't seen these guys play together, and that's a recipe for disaster. If Quinn's plan fails, not only will we see Jaden Daniels on the ground more than we'd like, but our entire offense will stall. So I ask you, is it worth risking our quarterback like this? Because if Daniels gets injured due to poor protection, it's not just Sunday's game that's at stake. It's our whole season. And look, I don't want to sound like all is lost, because I believe in this team's potential. But I'll say this, the decisions made in these early games will set the course for our season. And if Quinn gets this rotation wrong, we might not even have a chance to correct the course later. I think we need a stable, strong offensive line that plays together all the time, without last-minute experiments. All right, Commanders fans, here's where I need your input. Are you ready to trade draft picks for Davante Adams, or do you think it's better to stick with what we've got and build for the future? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'm really interested in hearing if you think this move is worth it or if we're risking too much. Moving on to the defense. Here's the big question. Is Elum the answer our secondary needs, or do you think we should look elsewhere? Are you on board with this trade? I want to read your thoughts below, because, without a doubt, this decision could set the course for our defense for the whole season. Finally, regarding the offensive line, are you okay with rotating players at left tackle, or are you worried this experiment might backfire? Drop your comments below and don't hold back. These kinds of decisions could make or break the team in the coming weeks. So, if you're passionate about keeping up with every detail of this team, subscribe to the channel now and be part of this big Commanders fan family. We're all united by one goal, to support and analyze every move of our team. Hit that like button if you share these concerns, and join the conversation so we can keep a close eye on every step of this season. And remember, hail to the Redskins!